Hey everybody, this is our group project. Just to introduce ourselves, I'm Bilal,
I'm Abdul.
I'm Hamad.
and we're pretty much going to be discussing with y'all Chapter 14, Aligning Your Culture to Support Sustainability. So as far as sustainability goes, there's many business leaders that talk about culture, but few of them actually have a systematic way of thinking about it, understanding it, or even measuring it, let alone managing and changing it. The fact of the matter is that organizational culture is intangible and difficult to define precisely and is often is resistant to change. Yet, if you are successful though, the payoff can be great in an aspect where research has shown that a company with a culture that promotes sustainability is more likely to be profitable in a sense and particularly long term. One example is the study of Eccles. Pretty much we cited in chapter 2 as evidence of the stock market is an advantage enjoyed by sustainable businesses focused specifically on companies with a sustainable culture. So a lively awareness of the impact of your culture is a crucial element in launching any sustainability initiative.
When it comes to why corporate culture resists sustainability, in the long run, no company can continue to be profitable without becoming more sustainable. And no company can become sustainable without changing its culture to support sustainability. Of course, corporate culture change, the essential is easier to describe than to create. So here are some of the most important principles to consider when you need to mount an effort to change your company's culture. So there's three levels of corporate culture. The first level includes what Ching called artifacts, a company's visible behaviors, organization, programs, processes, activities. Um, it's possible for a thoughtful observer to study these artifacts as they appear in the daily life of an organization, and um, and from the certain basic conclusion about the corporate culture, the things it emphasizes or disregards, the way resources are invested, and the second level is made up of what they call exposed values. These are revealed through explicit organizational messages such as speeches, presentations, as well as strategies, goals, and plans that values and serve to guide the organization. And the third level of culture is what of underlying assumptions, which Chine describes as uh, unconscious, taken for granted beliefs, thoughts, and feelings, the ultimate source of values and actions. You might summarize these three levels as doing, thinking, and believing, or as your employees might say it, what we do, what we say, and what we believe.
And now I'm going to talk about evaluating your existing culture. First, to formulate a plan for shaping a company culture that's aligned with your sustainability efforts, you need to understand the current situation. Begin by asking what is our organization's existing culture and how well can it support an effort to make sustainability a high priority. Answering this question may require an in-depth analysis of the explicit and implicit values, goals, attitude, and worldview that shape the behavior of employees based on input from people throughout the organization. Then ask what are the gaps or impediments between our existing culture and the sustainable culture we want to attain. In particular, try to examine the unspoken assumption about business, work, and the company mission that underlie your daily decision making process. and those of the people you work with most closely. You may want to consider using employee focus groups, surveys, and informal conversation to reveal the kind of hidden beliefs employees are harboring around sustainability. And finally, ask yourself, how does our culture need to be changed to support a move toward greater sustainability? What must we do to alter our behaviors, activities, and programs, artifacts of corporate culture, our statements of espouse values, and above all, the underlying assumption we take for granted every day.
So right now we're going to shift over to our last topic, and that's corporate capabilities that nurture sustainability. With this includes collaboration, effect, and long-term orientation. First, to define collaboration is the shared efforts of the many people on the teams with a variety of experience, knowledge, skills, and tool sets. Shifting over to long-term orientation is pretty much understanding sustainability, which means seeing how the corporate world and your industry and company in particular works within the larger social and natural world. In the bigger picture of thinking, you would consider this: how is the world enriched or diminished by your products or services? What are the major impacts on society, and how does your overall business strategy reflect those impacts? How are stakeholders included in your decision making, and how are the costs and benefits of what you do shared among them? How do you even take into account the needs of society and the future generations? Leaders of sustainability businesses will be able to answer future-oriented questions like these, and doing so requires the ability to think beyond the next quarter or two, and instead even to articulate a vision for the long-term future of your company. The independent thinking is closely linked to the reality that sustainable businesses must recognize and respond to the demands of multiple stakeholders, somehow balancing the needs of shareholders, employees, customers, suppliers, communities, and interest groups, and others with a legitimate interest in the organization's impacts, even if those impacts turn out to be indirect. Thus, the capability for independent thinking is close to the heart of sustainability, and in fact, it's difficult to imagine one without the other. As far as adaptability and agility goes, the sustainable organization is above all an adaptive and agile one that requires and recognizes, understands, and prioritizes and responds quickly to changes in the natural, social, and economic environment. When the organization loses the ability to adapt, it can't stay healthy for long. Companies that lack capacity for adaptability often develop sustainability programs only when a dramatic event forces them to act, and even then, they are often slow to respond effectively. Consider, for example, the relatively long reaction time of Google and Yahoo to the emergence of political censorship issues in China, as key concerns of human rights activists prevail. We'd like to thank y'all for listening, and that's our presentation. Hope you enjoyed it.